Welcome back, Melanie, to our second session. Just so you remember, my name is Jolene and I'm a therapist. Before we get into today's session, I want to ask you if you have any questions from our first session regarding consent and just the way I run my therapy sessions, and you understand that there's going to be, in some cases, I am required to share some of that information. So if you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions right now.
Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about why you're here today.
So I recently experienced sorry. Stop.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I recently was in a situation where I was sexually assaulted by my cousin. And I guess I'm just here to see how best to navigate through all of my feelings about that. Like I've, been dealing with, police reports and just, the doctors and just making sure I'm okay and all of that stuff. But just navigating through because he was someone that I trusted, and it was just really unexpected.
So I can imagine how hurtful and how heavy this could be for you. Throughout our session, I'm just going to be noting down some things so that I can keep on track of what you're telling me. Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about your dynamic with your cousin. Is this someone that you grew up with, or how was more of that relationship?
He is someone that I grew up with. We're close in age, so we're only like 2 years apart, but he's older than I am. I didn't really have, not really, but I don't have like an older brother or anything like that, so he was kind of my brother / cousin in a sense. So, in school, we ended up going to the same school, but he would always look out for me and stuff, and when, I don't know, girls would pick on me or like guys would approach me, like he was always there and just protected me, like that big brother energy. So we were really, really close.
Okay, so what I'm getting from what you're telling me is that, you haven't grown up with an older brother figure, and you were seeking to have that position filled with your cousin. And it looks to me that you were looking for someone to be there for you and to just maybe guide you through that college process, high school process, because you were having a hard time in high school with some bullying.
Yeah, I would say that. Not necessarily like an everyday bullying situation, but sometimes girls can just be mean, and then guys will approach you and stuff like that. So he was just looking out for me on all fronts. So
yeah. And did you guys hang out a lot outside of school?
Yeah, our parents are siblings, so I was always over at my aunt's house. He was always over at my house. We lived in the same area. It's just when those things happen, your family is nearby. So we spent a lot of time together outside of school, not just hanging out with family, but just quality time with each other.
Okay. And this instance that happened of the sexual assault, was it just a one-time thing, or it was over the course of time?
There was one instance where he tried to do something, and I guess he kind of played it off the first time, And I didn't really think anything of it. I guess I thought it was weird in the moment that first time, and I was like, kind of like, what are you doing? But then the second time, it like he completely like took advantage, and he wasn't, listening to anything that I had to say, and like was just like fighting him off and all of that stuff. He was just
Obviously, that situation hurt you. This was someone that you put your trust in, and they betrayed that trust and that boundary. I know that you mentioned that this was your cousin is siblings with your parents, and so did you ever feel comfortable to relay that situation to your parents? Obviously, traumatic experience with your parents.
I told my mom, not right away. I think it was maybe about a month later when I told her. But she was always like asking me like, what's going on with you, and you seem different, a bit out of it, especially because my cousin was just acting like everything was okay, and we would like hang out like usual. I guess I don't know, maybe just try to keep my distance from him whenever we were in the same place. But I guess my mom picked up on it, and like a month in, that's when she started asking more questions, and I finally told her.
Okay, and it seems like you have like a pretty good relationship with your parents.
Yeah.
I noticed that you said that you waited a month after this situation happened. Do you know as to why you waited such a long period of time?
Honestly, I think maybe I was in shock because I didn't think that he would do anything like that. But also, our family dynamic is very positive, and I didn't want to be the reason that everything kind of went south and like things started getting messed up. So I guess that's why I just kind of like kept it a secret, but it was bothering me too much, so I ended up telling my mom.
I can understand. I've been in a similar situation where something has happened to me and I didn't know how to properly address what has happened because I didn't want to mess up the dynamic amongst the people I was with. And because of that, it took a long time for me to come to terms with what had happened and for me to be on the path of that healing journey. But what you've been saying is that you were longing for an older brother figure that happened to be your cousin, and that trust was betrayed because he broke that boundary with you, and you had maybe a little problem with confronting that situation with people that could help you, maybe it was your parents, because you didn't want to ruin the positive family dynamic. And so now you're here looking for maybe ways to get past the situation. Tell me more about what has brought you.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, all of that's correct. I'm just really looking to navigate how to move forward because things are different now at the house, and just like with my aunt and stuff, and with the police involved, like it's caused a big rift in the family. Like I don't know if he's going to like jail, or like he will get indicted for something. I don't know like what they're gonna do as far as the charges go, and just with like court cases and all of those things. It's just a lot to deal with, and so I guess this is kind of just what I was trying to prevent by keeping it a secret, because it's not like I want him to go to jail or have charges, because like I do still love him, like that's my family, but at the same time I just don't really know where to go from here. I've been isolating myself a lot more, Yeah, I just really just been talking to my mom and like now you. So I don't really know what to do. Yeah, and I think even still like being in school at the same time, um, because my cousin isn't there to like, you know, not that I'm looking, that I depend on him to protect me, but because I'm used to him just always being there. School has been a lot more rough as well, and like I'm not doing so well with my classes. It's not like I can just tell my teachers because I don't want them to know that information and then have it go around the school and stuff like that. So I'm just, I don't really know how to navigate that.
So it sounds like you have a lot of weight on your shoulders, and it's causing you to not perform academically the way you want to. It's causing you to isolate yourself, and it's causing you to really not be, Melanie. And you're looking for ways to maybe navigate this whole situation as a whole, and get back to like who Melanie is. Okay. And so maybe we can look at ways to like chip pieces. Maybe we can look at ways to take portions of the situation that are more, that could be more in your control, because this situation is very intricate and could take a lot of different people to do the case, police and like figuring out the situation for your cousin. But right now, let's focus on what Melanie can do and get back to what Melanie does. So tell me more about some of the things that you like to do and some of the maybe clubs or things that you're part of at school.
Well, at school, we have a drama club. And school also has a choir that I'm a part of, and I've always like wanted to try out for the step teams. I was thinking about doing that next year, but I like acting and singing and just like the performing arts and stuff.
Sounds like you're very active. You like several things, and when you're, engaging in these things, does it help with like your anxiety? Or does it help with, do you find peace in doing these things?
Yeah, it's definitely a way for me to like have peace when you're like acting in drama class. You're able to take on like a different persona and like take on the role of another person, and because it's acting, so it's like I'm kind of escaping my life or my situation a little bit. And then with the choir and like singing, music just helps with everything and like just calming things down and just helping me, I guess, to regain focus and maybe like not spiral as much. So I'd say those are helpful.
And it sounds like how you mentioned music was something that helps bring down, your anxiety and brings like a calmness in the midst of this whole situation. So I think that we can use that as one of your coping skills to help you balance, the situation and like, bring you. I think we can use, like you said, music as one of your coping skills whenever you do feel anxiety about the situation, because it is a lot. And we're going to also focus on getting you back on track academically, and so you can finish out the school year strong. And we're also going to just add more resources for support, because this is a situation that could be very traumatic, and it's something that is very heavy, especially being this young. And we're also going to focus on not having to feel the weight of, you know, we're also going to focus on you not feeling like being more vocal in situations so for your own mental health, and so that you don't have to shy away from it when things like this do happen. Let's dig in a little bit more into that day, about specifically what happened and how, what steps led to that event, if you want to share.
So we were at my house, and it was after school. A lot of the times we just like, after school we come home, do homework, chill, play games, watch movies, social media, just hang out. But we don't also like really have, I guess, like we can come and go into each other's homes really, because like it's family, like, oh hey, I'm here. He had said he was going home, so he went home, and like I got, ready for bed. I hadn't gone to sleep yet, but I was getting ready for bed. And came into my room, which I didn't think anything of. And I think I don't know where my parents were, but we do have a basement, so they probably were there, which is why like they didn't hear anything. But came to my room, I didn't think anything of it. And then he came in my bed, which again, we're close, like nothing's wrong, just like chilling and laying down with your cousin. And like I was just on my phone, and then he just like started, he took my phone and like put my phone down, and he was just like caressing my leg, and I was like, what are you doing? And he didn't respond. And so I picked my phone back up, and I was just, because I was just like, I thought he was being playful, so I just like pushed him off, like, bro, what are you doing? Stop. But then he continued going, and then he started like going up my shirt, and I was, like a lot more defensive, like, what are you doing? And so he started just going like, like, don't worry about it, like, it's okay. And I, just kept trying to resist him. And then, how these things go, they tell you to keep quiet, and he just started getting a bit more aggressive with me. He started getting a bit more aggressive with me, and then I guess I knew what was happening, and I kind of zoned out. So I guess I kind of not allowed it to happen, but I stopped fighting back because I didn't have enough strength within me to like push him off anymore. And like after that, he left, and I didn't move again after that. Until the next day, I kind of just stayed there. I guess it's like a feeling of like someone is taking something from you that you don't want them to take away. And like I felt a bit weak that I couldn't defend myself more. And I don't even know if it was like physically weak, but I guess I went numb. And I guess I started beating myself up for that month before I told my mom, because I didn't take care of myself. Like I didn't fight for myself. And I was just acting like everything was okay. So, yeah.
It sounds like in that experience, you had a moment of like disassociation because this was something that was very foreign to you, and obviously I can imagine that you were probably in a state of shock because this was someone that you trusted, someone you thought that was going to be there for you, and you probably couldn't believe that this is the person, like someone I felt safe with, was making me feel scared in that moment. And because of that, you said you felt weak, and you felt like you don't know if it's emotionally or like physically, but you had that sense of weakness, and that emotion probably carried on for like maybe a month, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
And so what was it in that time frame that was like, okay, let me just tell my parents?
I felt I'm not like a destructive person when it comes to like myself or like trying to harm myself or anything like that, and I'm usually like very open with communication about things, and I realized that like every night I was in my room just crying, and I wasn't sleeping, and I realized like I couldn't help myself. Like every day I got up and I went out and I tried to like put on this front, but I realized like after that time period, like I just couldn't do it by myself anymore, and I wanted help. So that's why I went and I told my mom, because the pressure was just too much on me to handle by myself, and I just didn't feel like it was fair, and I guess I didn't understand why he did that and saw me that way. Yeah.
So you're saying because the pressure of the situation was so much, and that you couldn't maybe handle it anymore, that's what maybe pushed you to share with your parents? And how did you, or do you remember how you felt after you spoke up about that situation?
I felt like a sense of relief because I told them, but at the same time I got very nervous because I didn't know what the repercussions would be afterward, with like how my cousin would react when he was confronted, and I knew like police and like other like officials, medical people, court would get involved. So I didn't know how it would all go down. I still don't know how it would all go down. So I just got really nervous about it.
So it was like that worry piece. So even after you told your parents, and maybe somehow you thought you'd be relieved, there was that piece that was worrying you about like how is this gonna play out in the end, not only for me but for my cousin.
Yeah.
And why do you feel that? Why do you want to protect your cousin, or do you feel the need to protect your cousin after you did something like this?
I guess because we just have such, like, at the end of the day, like, he was still my family, and we grew up together. Like, at the end of the day, he was still my friend too, and I don't want, even though he hurt me, I don't want to see him hurt, if that makes sense. Like, I think that what he did was wrong, and like he should, I don't want to say be punished for it, but I should get justice for it. But at the same time, I don't wish like anything crazy, like any ill will toward him. That's just not pertaining to this situation.
Okay, so what you're saying is that like you care about him and you don't want to see anything terrible happen to him, and you're balancing that on top of you trying to deal with this whole situation, and also balancing that on top of your academic journey throughout high school and stuff like that. Do you think balancing all of these things is too much for you?
I would say so. This situation is a lot. On top of everything that I'm doing at school and dealing with at school and just like existing in general, like going through daily life. So it is a lot to balance.
And I've experienced trying to balance so many things on my plate, and I often find it to be difficult. So maybe throughout this therapy session, we can kind of navigate and just focus on you, and maybe you can hone in on the things that what Melanie wants, because oftentimes we try to oftentimes we try to be in control of things, and like even other people's life, things that we can't control. And so I think it's important for you to focus on you and your recovery, and let the officials and court case people handle that outcome. And I'm pretty sure, whether positive or negative, that we want to make sure that you will be okay at the end of the day. Yeah, because I'm thinking now I need
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I need to start closing.
Kind of like
session.
summarize.
Yeah.
I was also thinking, because of what you just did here, because you kind of, based on what I was telling you before, and then just about the coping skills that you mentioned, bringing this in and then saying backtrack, and then you brought in more coping, I think it's fine with the setup.
Okay.
I don't think we need to switch it.
Okay.
I mean, I'll listen to it, but I think it's
We just need to cut in the
parts.
There's a comedy that came up, was just staring at me. I said,
Hello. Just cool.
Just want to know why. Okay, and so from here, in the last 2 minutes, I'm going to.
Oh wait, you don't understand.
No.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm not going to do
The last 2 minutes.
And that's when I get the last 2 minutes. I'm going to summarize everything. So you experience a sexual something, and it's been taking an emotional toll, and you're looking for ways to navigate this experience. And through that, we are going to be honing in on like self-care and your goals to be better and become more. And throughout our next sessions, we are going to explore more coping skills to help something. Do you have any questions for me? I don't. Okay. Okay, guys. Wait, so what did I say? Okay, I'm summarizing.
Yes. And then
Now I don't really know.
summarizing, and then
Yeah.
so next session. Okay.
Okay, Melanie, so what else? Sorry.
Oh. Be louder.
Yeah.
Since this is your talking moment.
Okay, Melanie, so what I'm getting from the session is that you're after all I asked, is this your first time in therapy?
But this is the second session, so it's okay.
Okay. Okay, Melanie, so what you're getting to tell me is that what you're getting to tell me. Okay, Melanie, so what you're telling me is that you've experienced this traumatic event, and with someone that was close to you, and you're having trouble trying to navigate this experience because you want, obviously your cousin to have a good outcome, obviously you to to overcome the situation, especially because you're a part of all these extracurriculars and you're also a student at our school. And so we discussed that we're going to hone in on more self-care, and we also realized that we can't control other people's outcomes in life, but we can control what happens to ourselves and could be in control on how we feel. And so through that, we're going to be using coping skills, such as making goals for ourselves as well. And we're going to also focus on our, what are we focusing on?
What'd you say?
I said, yeah, we're going to be focusing on our self-care, and we're going to be also coming up with coping skills that are going to be beneficial, coping skills that we can utilize.
And then also talk about, continue talking about your feelings toward your cousin, and I guess how you can move forward, like think of him, move forward and not think of him in a different way, but like your feelings toward him, how we can move from
we're gonna move forward from getting you from you having these negative emotions and moving forward to having them more on a positive
despite the situation.
Despite the situation.
Okay. Ready?
Yes, and we're going to go over coping skills that you can utilize whenever you do feel anxious or feel like anxiety because the situation just doesn't go away. We're also going to work on your feelings towards your cousin and get them more, move those negative emotions to more positive emotions, and also creating boundaries with him as well, because I understand that you do care about him, but this situation was very traumatic for you, and so just creating healthier relationships, and even though those may look different. Do you have any questions or concerns for me? And do you think that I adequately understood your situation?
Yeah, I think that you understood my situation, and I don't have any questions right now, but I'm ready to move forward and with these coping skills and try and just be better even in this situation.
Okay, thank you, Melanie, and I'm looking forward for our future sessions.
Thank you.